Hey, good Saturday afternoon, everyone. Hi, welcome to another episode of Pulp Cthulhu. Um, Another episode of Go West, the Pulp Cthulhu campaign. Oof. I am Simon at Wondering DM, and today I'll be playing Robert Stone, the Deputy. You'll notice that the overlay is a bit more bare than usual because we are playing with a reduced cast today. So we will not be showing current sanity and advantages and all that, but just so we remember, and for you as well, if you want to keep track of it at home, none of us have advantages. And my current sanity is a 17, and the doc's current sanity is a 64. I am certainly not going crazy. Certainly not. I'll. Well, we'll go around the table. Yeah, sure. Scott, why don't you introduce yourself and who you're playing today, and then we'll leave it to our keeper.
Certainly. So I am at Berserkerage on Twitter. I will be playing Dr. Drake Anders, a resident doctor, a better doctor, in my opinion, but I'm a little biased, so that is who I will be playing today.
All right, and well, Deirdre, please take us away.
Well, afternoon, y'all. It's my favorite day of the week. Get to drive some fine folk mad in the wonders of Four Corners, New Mexico territory in the great year of our Lord, 1870. We had some interesting things happen at the end of last season. A kidnapping attempt was foiled by a brave young gentleman here, and got to meet some interesting people in shape of a Lady Pearl Goodnight herself, and, well, this led to the unfortunate demise of one Jane Langley. And the rather unfortunate, harm that was brought upon our dear doctor. I believe at the end of that, he was not doing so hot now, was he?
No, not at all.
But we're going to wind the clock forward a little bit now that the sheriff has ensured that the deputy is actually going to be, well, sticking around for a while anyways, and serving out as himself. We're going to wind the clock forward 24 hours. Which means, as we learned last time, the doctor recovers his constitution and his health. He don't really recover his sanity, however. It's mildly. Well, what did you feel, Doctor, when you were after the fact of dealing with that experience?
I don't think the doctor was feeling quite anything. Just a dark void that he was fallen into when Miss Langley decided to show us exactly what she was dealing with. But apparently it was all psychosomatic, so we'll see how the recovery goes.
Mm-hmm. And as you've been recovering today, you're the other doctor in town, Dr. Benjamin Adams. Possibly the better doctor. I mean, he was the one who done shot somebody that everybody saw. Dr. Anders did manage to shoot an individual on his front door. Unfortunately, nobody saw that. Not even his sister. But he has instructed your sister in the care to provide for you to ensure that you are recovered, at least physically. Mostly his instruction was for you to take a very long drink and then to sleep for at least 24 hours. Well, in that time, however, our deputy has signed a piece of paper with his sheriff. Deputy, how are you feeling about being yourself now, sir?
It's liberating in a way. But I feel like Robert. I'm gonna have to. Now it's my turn to make sure that I say the right name. But I feel like Robert is feels a little vulnerable. It's he hasn't used his real name in a long time.
Are you surprised that the sheriff knew?
Well, the sheriff didn't seem to know my real name, but he knew that that George wasn't my name.
Yep.
Which, is probably a testament of his skills as far as Robert is concerned. So he didn't put much stock into that.
When we last left off, you were instructed by your employer to deal with the remains that are hanging around. The remains of Joshua Covington were removed from the Coldwater Sundries where you left his dead body bleeding out in the middle of the store floor. And the remains of the folk that June shot in the middle of the street were also removed rather quickly by various hands around, and Mr. Bryant coming out to help you with that. But the remains of, well, behind the store, Jane Langley and her horse are still for you to deal with, sir.
As she evaporated?
Nope.
Okay. Good to know.
Nope, that body is still there. Kind of crispy, but still there.
Quite corporeal.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, knowing that, she...
Yep. But the remains of the bug...
Yeah, the...
things
Mm-hmm.
that you lit on fire... Well, you have some charcoal marks there and some dead bugs that are burnt to a crisp, but there's nothing else really there.
Okay.
But Jane and her horse are.
Well, for Jane anyway, I'll bring the body to Father Makarov. To the Undertaker. And then to Father Makarov. I feel like she needs to be buried anyway. Respectfully. And well, as far as the horse is concerned, I'll go through saddlebags. Did her horse have saddlebags?
Yep.
Pouches of some kind? Alright, I'll just go through what she had, because I really want to find incriminating evidence that the Bradfords were behind something, or behind it all. So I'll go through that, and then if the horse is in somewhat good condition, I'll notify the town's butcher.
Well, it's been sitting in the desert for about 24 hours. It isn't in good condition.
Oh, yeah, okay. I think I'm just gonna drag it away. It's still a horse, still fucking heavy. I'm probably gonna need help for that. But to drag it away from town and then leave it for the coyotes and the vultures.
Let nature take care of its own. I'm assuming you're keeping the tack.
Oh yeah, keeping tack bit brittle if there's any saddle like anything that isn't the horse itself.
All right.
Even
Well,
well, yeah, I'm gonna leave the horseshoes on. Like it's not like that was super expensive.
I mean, if you let the blacksmith know that they're there, he might want them. But
Well, I mean, it's still two pairs of horseshoes, so yeah, might as well.
he will happily take them, even if he can't use them right away. He'll use them for something.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going through her things, where are you going to do that?
I think I would bring everything to my apartment,
I,
and I'll go through all that there after we've moved the horse and everything.
you want to roll me that spot hidden?
I can definitely roll a spot hidden. Green
Because
button.
investigation doesn't work.
Hey, I'm going to burn 2 points of luck.
2 luck points.
Which is 10% of what I have left. I'm just saying.
I understand. It's the saddlebags are interesting. While you recall that the doctor and the priest in June were going through her room in the first time you killed Jane Langley, and you found her travel bags and one full of cosmetics and one full of various dresses. The saddlebags are more personal. It's obvious that she felt she could leave the valets and luggage in the room in the saloon and not lose anything, but the saddlebags she was concerned about. This is where her personal items would be. You find clothes, again, not clothes of what you'd expect, but a pair of very nice leather trousers, some very nondescript blacks and browns. You find letters bound in ribbon, some addressed to her brother James, some addressed to George Brooks,
Ooh.
some addressed to Jacob and Jeremiah Langley, her 2 younger brothers. You find the stiletto that you are familiar with and you knew her to carry from previous occasions.
Mm-hmm.
You also find a book.
Okay. Like a notebook?
No, this is very much not like a notebook. It's old, bound in leather.
Ye old book.
Colors dark, but you can see some places where it looks like it was red at some point, but the oils on the hands have darkened it as it was held. The pages inside are weathered. Definitely not paper like you're used to, maybe closer to vellum or parchment.
Okay, it's that old.
Yeah.
And what's like if I just flip through the pages, what's inside of it?
Can you roll me an intelligence check?
Mm-hmm. I mean, is intelligence one of my... That's a good enough stat. Which I hard success on.
You're reading through this book and you're flipping through it and you begin to see words, and they're not in any language you recognize, but you start to understand what it says. And you see engravings and illuminated pages. You see images of snakes winding through the illuminated images and kind of progressing from page to page, almost like a flip book animation you got going on there.
Okay, yeah.
You would have to spend some serious time reading through it, but I do need you to roll me that sanity check.
That's a major failure.
You're going to lose 2 sanity, sir. And you notice something else.
Mm-hmm.
You notice notes in the margin.
Okay.
Handwriting. It matches Jane's. And in the beginning, it's sarcastic and sassy and making note jokes about why would anyone actually believe this? God, this is such bullshit. Who would ever in their right mind believe that you could cause somebody to experience pain just by saying some words? And then the tone changes. The words themselves and the writing gets more erratic. And there are points as you go through that it's less and less, and some things are misspelled that you know should be able to be spelled right. There are points at which she's talking through here and different words are being thrown in. You definitely get the impression that she was becoming less and less stable as she read through this book.
Much like I am at the moment.
Probably. Roll me 1d4.
1d4, yep, coming up. It's a 1.
You find 2 spells, sir, that you can use.
Oh boy.
If you would have to spend longer and a more detailed time to get anything else out of this book.
Well, next time we have some downtime.
Yep. But you definitely get the impression that as she held on to it, she was at the end.
She was what? Sorry? You sort of went robot for a second.
Sorry. She was much less stable there at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be super careful.
You gonna do anything with those letters?
I'll start with reading the ones that were addressed to me.
The first couple are funny, almost.
Okay.
They start almost right after she arrested you. Or you arrested her. Sorry.
Mhm.
You arrested her. And the first couple are jokingly laughing at how you managed to pull one over on her, and she's kind of surprised and entertained by it, but she's looking forward to the opportunity to do the same for you. Then they start to change. The tone gets angrier and angrier. You can see immediately where she starts blaming you for the death of her brother. You can probably tie that to the date of his execution. You can also see where it starts getting rambling and disoriented and sorry about that, y'all. I needed to clear my throat. But they you see as they start to ramble and become more, she starts talking about how she's been promised and she's going to use you, and that you've been promised to her and your death is not yet. She can't have that yet. And they go for a while. There are a number of them. They become longer or shorter. They're rambling as they go on. But there's one dated 2 days ago, from your understanding.
Oh. Wait,
That
2
one's
days
different.
ago.
From
I have to
today.
remember.
So 2 days ago would have been the day you shot her.
Okay. I was like, was it the day that I woke up? No, it's okay. It's the day I shot her.
Technically, you shot her the day you woke up. It was a very busy morning.
Yeah, okay. Oof. Yeah, so many things happening at once. All right. And what does this one say?
Yep.
You piece of shit, you shot me. I can't believe you shot me.
Actually, no. This one's clearer. And she addresses it to Ramon.
She addresses it to who? Deirdre?
Lucio? Nope. Good?
Kinda.
Sorry.
You good?
There we go.
Yeah, I don't know if
There we
it's okay. I don't know if it's on my end on
No. No, it could just be me. I'm closing extra things, it's fine. But she addresses it to Robert Stone. And it says, Robert, that's your name. By the time you read this, hopefully I'll be really dead. I made a mistake. A grave one. This is the first time I've been clear of mind in months. Maybe years. I remember both my hurt and anger at you, but neither are overwhelming. I know I have not been well. There are days when I cannot recall hours at a time. I know that there are forces in play that are greater than I am. Take this to be my last will and testament. My possessions I leave to you, Robert Stone. I think you might have need of them. Burn my body. I fear what might happen if you do not. Forward my letters to Jacob and Jeremiah, please. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for releasing me. All of my sins are my own. Feel no guilt where those choices have led me. It never would have worked. It was fun, but it wasn't a great love of either of our lives, now was it? I wish you the best of luck. You and that very cute little short store owner. I believe you might have needed that in the coming onslaught. Miss Jane Elizabeth Langley.
I think I'm gonna fold that letter and put it in my pocket. Keep it with me.
Doctor,
Well, yes.
how are you feeling?
Better after a very much needed rest.
That's a good one. Your sister has been concerned about you, kind of flattening around, trying hard to make sure that she's got everything you need so that you are well. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to reset because I can't. It keeps cutting out for me.
Yep.
Okay.
It's okay. We'll go on the break screen. We'll be right back. We'll go on the break screen and we'll be right back.
Well,
All right, we're back.
Sorry about that, y'all. Apparently, the beings from the beyond have gotten into my internet connection. Why? I have no idea whatsoever. But, Doctor, your sister has been concerned about you.
you've always been a good caretaker. That's why you have the family, Isabel.
Well,
do- I do appreciate everything you've done. Sorry you had to make your way out here for, well, all of this.
Well, it was almost preferable for staying in New York.
Well, it's definitely not always this entertaining.
Well, it was definitely exciting last night and the night before. But are you well? And she's gonna literally walk up and put her hand on your head and start.
I'll brush her hand away and go, I'm fine. Physically, I feel okay. Just, a little bit of a headache, but nothing, a little coffee and a good walk around won't fix.
Well, I'm sure that'll be good for you. And as you move her hand out of your way, sir, you notice that she's a little pale.
Are you feeling okay?
Oh, I'm just tired. It's fine. It's been a very long journey.
And at that point, I'll take her wrist and just take her blood pressure, just to see if I can see if anything's off.
You want to roll that medicine check?
Sure. Hard success.
Wait, the other thing I forgot to reopen. Hard success. She seems not feverish, but she's definitely pale, and her heart rate's a little accelerated. If you looked into her eyes and tried to get her to focus on you, you'd almost think it was some sort of anemia.
Is everything okay with you? Have you been feeling all right?
Oh, I just had the worst migraine the other day. Some things just, right before they brought you in, and you are much more important than, of course, I am. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I just need to rest.
Please do, but if you feel anything at all, please let me know. I'm here just as much as you need me.
I know. That's why we came out here. I mean, I wouldn't have stayed in New York. Terrence's parents had become difficult.
And how are things between you?
Well, Terrence was fine between Terrence and I, everything was fine. And unfortunately, he died in that carriage accident, and it was upsetting, but it was fine. And then his parents had some opinions that I did not agree with, and I did not wish to have Lawrence or Cassandra around.
And that's understandable. I'm very happy you chose to come out. I just wish the circumstances were a little bit better.
Oh, I'm sure everything will be fine.
Things seem to be returning to, I guess, as normal as they can be.
Everything will be fine. Drake. Calm
very-
down.
Sorry, I'm one to worry, you know.
I know. You don't want to give your own self a fit of apoplexy. Now, that very nice doctor, Dr. Adams,
Hmm.
he did stop by while you were sleeping, and he made a mention of the fact that they were taking care of the, whatever remains were happening, and that nice deputy fellow was going to be around. You might want to go talk to him. I'll be fine. I just need to take a little rest.
Will you lay down? I'll go see. I'll go pay George a visit.
Of course. And she'll retire back to the other room. You would also notice with that hard success that the symptoms that she's showing are mostly fatigue and slight elevation of heart rate and paleness, and seem very familiar to the symptoms that one Anna Willis, that you are familiar with, also exhibits. But Anna is also suffering from consumption, and Isabel is not showing any symptoms of, well, that gambler's malady. None of the cough or rattle in her lungs.
Make a note here.
So at this point, you would probably find George. Well, where would the good doctor find you, George? Oh, excuse me, Robert.
It's okay. I kind of understand when someone says George, they also mean Robert. It's.
I'll get better at that.
Yeah, it's okay. Right now, I think I'm going to, if it's after looking through the letters and everything, Robert is going to get the good doctor to try to move the horse away. So I'd be on my way to find the doctor, so I think we can meet on the street or something.
Right.
All the conversations in Four Corners happen in the middle of the street.
As it were, yeah.
I mean, you know.
Or on the side thereof. Ah. Wait, I have to get the voice down again. Why, howdy, doctor.
Afternoon, George. How are you?
I could probably fare a bit better, but
Apparently, there's quite a bit of cleanup going on here.
that there is. I actually came for you for help. I have a horse that needs moving. One of the dead horse that Miss June shot.
Oh, I suppose we could rope it up and take one of your horses to drag it out of town.
I was thinking the same. Probably use two horses so we don't split the carcass in half.
Okay.
I would just rather not have to spill guts any more than we had to last night.
I certainly understand that. By chance, you haven't seen Dr. Adams around, have you?
I reckon I saw him shoot at someone last night from the window of his hotel room.
Just want to discuss a few things with Dr. Adams, but that can wait for later.
You would also recall that the last time you saw Dr. Adams, he was tending to Dr. Anders and then had decided to go visit go visit June and Lady Pearl on their invitation.
I thought he was going to, but not that he had gone yet.
No, he hadn't gone. That's all. That he had
Okay.
just said that he was going to.
Okay.
And I'll head off with George to give him a hand with this giant horse carcass.
You're muted.
Using your horses and is pulling this out of town. I'm assuming you're going to go at least a fair distance.
Well enough that, yeah,
Yeah,
we're
maybe
not
a
going to attract too much stuff.
good 10-15 minutes away.
Yeah, a couple miles maybe.
Yeah.
So you don't have coyotes in your backyard,
Yeah, preferably.
as they have been known to carry off anything that's standing still long enough. Taking the body out, it's not long.
All right then.
Returned.
As we're writing, I'll just turn to the doctor and say, reckon that was one hell of a fight last night. How are you faring, doctor?
Surprisingly well, to be honest with you, George. I was at death's door last evening, but I mean, I feel like it was nothing at all. Just a minor hangover, to be honest with you.
I also meant about the monsters that we saw.
Right now, I'm not sure. I mean, snake things and evaporating bodies, and I don't have a logical explanation for any of it.
I don't know.
It's, to pardon the phrase, but it's insanity. It's feels like pure madness running through your head. That's another
Reckon it is.
another thing I want to talk to Mr. Adams about. There's something about that man I just don't understand. But-
He seems to be one elusive doctor.
Yeah, there's just something I can't put my finger on though. There's a reason that he's here and has so much knowledge about what's going on. But I'm not certain. I mean, the man seems like just a wealth of knowledge. And I, for one, would like to pick the man's brain. I mean,
You mean figuratively?
well, yeah. Not in the literal sense. I'm not a monster.
Man
And-
tag along.
I don't mind at all.
Why don't one of you or both of you make me a spot hidden or a listen check?
Well, gosh darn. Varmint are at it again.
I made a spot hidden with a success.
Alright, I'll try listen. With a success as well.
As you were riding back into town after disposing of this carcass, well, Doctor, you noticed sitting at a table in the saloon, outside the saloon on that front porch, you do notice Dr. Adams with a book in his lap and another gentleman you do not recognize sitting there talking to him. Robert would hear the good doctor's voice, definitely speaking a language that is not English to your ear, nor is it Spanish.
Wait, you said it's not Spanish?
Nope.
But I recognize the...
You recognize the voice as one Dr. Benjamin Adams.
But he speaks a language that I understand, yet I know it to not be Spanish.
No, you don't understand it,
I
but you
don't
know it not to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do. It is not English. It is not Spanish.
Does he sound angry or?
Nope. Almost calm. But then again, you've never actually heard the gentleman to be angry. None of you have heard him be anything other than mildly annoyed at being woken up.
Well then. Let's go around the corner and go talk to our good doctor. I meant
Hashtag.
the other
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah. The
Everyone's a good something to Robert's eyes. In Robert's eyes.
Dr. Adams. So,
As you both approach, you both see this Dr. Adams reclining, again, very well dressed for the time. Seems almost high class. His boots have been polished to a shine, and he's kind of resting them propped up on the rail in front of the saloon. The figure sitting next to him on the other side is tall, dirty blonde hair, wearing a long duster and a hat. As you approach, they both look over at you. The figure sitting next to Dr. Adams says something neither of you really understand, but he nods and gets up and walks back down the street towards the livery stable. And Dr. Adams remains at the table, picks up his drink, and continues, almost waiting for the rest of you to see what you do.
we'll approach and. Good morning, Dr. Adams. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Dr. Anders. I'm glad you're feeling better.
I do appreciate you tending to me last evening and giving Isabel the necessary information to take care of me. I really do appreciate that. But your friend didn't have to leave?
Oh no, he had business elsewhere. He was just stopping by on his way through.
Certainly. Speaking of which, how long do you plan to be in town?
Probably for another couple of weeks. Don't really have a set schedule at the moment.
That is good to hear. It's been quite valuable having you in town, it seems.
I am apparently so. I am enjoying being valuable. But he kind of relaxes back. Deputy, how are you doing today?
Couldn't be better myself. The events from last night were a bit harrowing, but I'm gonna pull through. I've seen worse.
I can possibly believe that. Gentlemen, why don't you join me? And he reaches up behind him and knocks on the window behind him and just kind of does two. And you see that he's already got a bottle sitting at the table next to him, and there are two more chairs around this table if you'd like to sit down.
I would.
Yeah, you pull out a chair and have a seat.
One thing for sure is I ain't drinking no bourbon anymore.
Yes, I don't recommend that. And a couple moments later, young Mickey Campbell comes running out and bringing out two more glasses that he leaves on, and you just see Ben reach into his pocket and flick him a nickel. Kind of large for a tip, but
You got money bags over here.
Well, I mean, he is a doctor, so... Aren't you rich? Anders?
I wouldn't say I'm rich. I mean, I'm not quite aware of what Four Corners pays for a doctor, but
You're comfortable, sir. We would say that you are comfortable.
that is an accurate statement.
I mean, I share a home with another person. And not like we live together. It's literally 50-50.
Well, technically, you just live above the jail.
I live above the jail, but basically when shoot, what's his name again? I was gonna
Ed?
say-
Sheriff or
Ed, yeah.
Edmund.
When Edmund goes to sleep, I can't stay. I have to leave.
Well, Edmund doesn't sleep in the jail.
I thought he lived up because he did come. Oh, so okay. Sorry. In my mind, the last time that we had that I went to work and he went to sleep, I thought he was going into my place to
No.
sleep, so that I didn't even own a place. I just rented part-time the room above the jail.
No, the room above the jail is yours in compensation, and it isn't.
Okay.
And Edmund doesn't sleep there because he sleeps at the saloon.
Yeah, that's strange, isn't it? He shares a bed with another gentleman. That's just so weird.
Is it though?
is it really?
I mean, we have Pearl and Lady Goodnight.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, but we all know that they don't sleep in the same bed. They just say their prayers every night together, and then they sleep in separate beds, right?
Aww.
Oh,
sweet
maybe
buddy
that's what
child.
he does with Thomas. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, right. Moving on. But Dr. Adams gestures for the two of you to sit down and uncorks the bottle that he's got sitting in front of him. You can immediately see without a roll that this is not any of the bottles that had the very distinctive skull of a cattle with a snake widened through it. He pours it out, picking it up. It is a dark brown liquid, but picking it up, it definitely does not smell like bourbon. And it does not smell like anything that messed you up. It does, however, smell like it might be very fine scotch.
I can deal with that.
So, was there a reason for you gentlemen seeking me out this morning?
Just more of a professional curiosity, Doctor.
I always support professional curiosity.
You just seem very well versed, very well traveled. Almost. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine. I mean, you don't look what, a day over 30, 35 maybe, but you seem to know quite a bit.
Books. And he kind of lifts the one that he's holding on his lap and as a point of order and takes another drink.
I mean, it's understandable, but I mean, it almost seems like you've had personal experience in dealing with some of the things we've been dealing with.
Yeah, like them bug monsters.
No, I read about those in the Conquistador's diary.
What about the invisible monster with the tentacles? That blood-sucking vampire thing.
Also in a Conquistador's diary. Conquistadors get into all sorts of trouble.
I mean, perhaps.
Do you by any chance have that book on you?
No, unfortunately. It's not one of the books I carry when I travel. My library is just too large to maintain it on travel.
Speaking of which, where do you hail from, Doctor?
Most recently, Louisiana.
Not had quite the chance to get down south here lately.
For player reference, his accent is definitely not Louisiana.
No,
Right.
but that's where he hails from lately.
Yeah. And that, I mean, pardon me, but so that's your residence now. But I mean, where did you call home originally? I mean, myself, I'm from back east. I was born in New York.
Well, I was born in a little town just north of Snowdon in Wales.
Oh, I've not had a chance to travel across the pond.
I hate ships. And he takes another very long drink.
I'll drink to that.
I don't recommend them when they sink. They're just
I'm not sure that there are many folks that do appreciate them when they sink, Doctor.
well, I would just hope not. I mean, appreciating a sinking vessel is
Well, unless you're the one that does the sinking.
still not my favorite.
No, I just was just curious with the way that those things last night manifested themselves. So, I mean, they were quite physical. At least they seemed to be quite physical until they were no longer, and then they appeared to, for lack of a better term, evaporate.
Which
Um,
ones are you talking about, sir?
Not the corpses we carried out of town today. No, I was referring to the almost snake-like, you would say, in appearance.
Oh, them. Huh. Didn't actually see any of them.
Did you also read about them in that Conquistador journal?
And he takes a look at you, smirks. Yes, I did. It's a very entertaining journal about an individual who was traveling under the orders of the Spanish crown and was here for believed in the wholeheartedly in the religious conversion, and or at least he claimed to, and then in public, and then but really he was here for enjoyment of the scenery, as it were, and
Can I roll psychology? I'm thinking he knows more than what he's
Okay.
talking about.
Oh,
go right ahead.
And
You're
like
huge.
Simon out of game is like, you're talking about yourself, like, shut up, I know you were there. But Robert doesn't know that. But Robert is like, no, it's not, he didn't read the journal. Like, there had to be something else.
He wrote
Yeah.
the journal.
Yeah, he
wasn't-
wrote
He
it.
read. It was self-narrated.
Yeah, but I wouldn't, I can't go so
No,
far as to say that.
Right. Yeah, never mind.
You can push the roll. Because,
I'm-
I mean, that's something that apparently you guys keep forgetting that you can do.
That's true, I'm going to push the roll.
Oh, I don't forget that we can do it. I just don't do it.
Well, it would have helped not burning through all my luck.
All right, let me see if I can call bullshit on some of this.
If I push the roll, I know that I have to state a consequence, right?
No, I choose the consequence.
You choose the
have to
consequence.
describe. I choose the consequence. You have to decide how you're going to change the situation.
All right, then.
If you lose the roll, if you fail the roll a second time, he's aware of what you're trying to do.
Okay, so I think
This is not a combat situation where it will make it.
Mhm.
If it
This
does,
is not a
run-
combat situation where it won't make it desperate if you fail. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
if
So
it does, run to the church.
So I think pushing the role, Robert would say, like, "Oh, come on, Doctor. I know quite well that you didn't read that in that there journal. Either you knew of someone, or you're hiding some of that information from us, because you know more than what you're letting on right now." And it's a success.
Hey, good job.
He is hard to read, but he kind of smiles and almost smirks at you. And, well, writing in my journal is equally as entertaining as reading a book. Some of the best information in the world can be gained from books. But if you want to have a real conversation, gentlemen, this is not the place to be doing it.
Well,
Where would you propose that be done? Because, Doctor, you have my medical curiosities at an all-time high.
we can go back to my place.
Why don't we walk over to that very nice church over there?
Well, that's fine by me. I'm sure the father won't mind. I'm sure he'd appreciate the company if he were around.
Oh, I'm sure he would. Last I heard, he was dealing with some religious thing. I don't know. I don't pay much attention. Faith is always entertaining. After you, gentlemen.
Is he picking up the bottle behind him? Because if not, I am.
He'll let you pick up the bottle. He picks up his cane
Mm-hmm.
that was leaning next to him, and he picks up the book.
All right.
And, well, if you're going to grab it, grab that too. And don't forget the glasses.
Yeah, I'll grab the glasses.
No.
And you walk into the church, which is quiet right now. Nobody's around. It seems as if it's been cleaned
Bless you.
recently, but it does not appear as if there's anybody around. A quick glance around would see that it's quiet. Most of the doors are closed. As he enters inside, well, let me phrase that. As you enter inside, what do you do?
Coming in, Drake will take a look around and just see if he happens to see the father anywhere. But upon seeing that there's no one really around, he'll just quietly step in, go up a few pews, and have a seat in one of the pews.
I think Robert would wait for everyone to be in, close the door behind him, and is there a way to lock them from the inside, or do we absolutely need a key for that?
No, there's a
Latch or something. Yeah. So he's gonna latch the doors, and turn to the rest of the group and say, "Well, that way we can have a private conversation."
That's true.
Dr. Adams walks in very gracefully, and he settles himself in one of the pews. He does not cross himself or make any gesture sign towards the altar, but he's not disrespectful of the space.
Right.
He doesn't like put his feet up on the pew or anything. He just relaxes back into it and puts his book down and puts the cane next to it and holds out his hand for a glass.
Oh,
Any conversation like this should... Thank you very much, sir, young man. So, what exactly do you want to know? Because apparently I'm bullheaded and stubborn, and your young friend, Miss Maisie, is upset that I aren't giving out answers to questions that haven't been asked.
I guess the first question to ask is, how is it that you know so much about the specifics of the things we've been dealing with here in Four Corners? And before you answer about books, I'm sure there's some more personal experience that you could elaborate upon.
How good are you gentlemen at keeping secrets?
I mean, is the town running away in a panic because of monsters?
Not
I
those
mean,
kind of
there's
secrets.
there's I was going to say there's a difference between secrets, George, and well, I mean, stories that absolutely no one would believe.
I would believe them.
Well, you've seen things firsthand, and certainly you would believe them. I mean, I didn't believe anything at first until, I mean, we came across those things, especially at the bank's residence. Anyway, to answer your question, Dr. Adams, I'm a medical professional. That should, I'm certainly hoping, some regard with you. Privacy is of the utmost importance.
You, deputy?
Well, as for me, I've kept my own identity a secret for years.
And I'll just kind of give George a side glance at that.
What?
Because I don't. You didn't tell.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Your name's Robert.
No,
so-
that's it.
Yeah,
And he's not saying anything more. He's just saying, I hid my own identity for years. And it's like, look, I'm not even revealing it right now.
Well, then. Let's play a little game, gentlemen. I love games. They're almost as entertaining as books. How do you think I know any of these things if you don't believe the books?
it's not a matter of believing books. I mean, there's certainly something to say about obtaining wealth of knowledge from reading, but it's, I mean, it's books that, I mean, probably don't exist, or you know, it's almost like a secret society level of wealth of knowledge that you seem to have to, play coy. It just doesn't seem like all this is obtained through a book, Doctor.
Oh no, some of it is. Some of it really is. And when you make a comment about a secret society, he looks you up and down. And let's see something. He makes a quick decision about you, and then he focuses in on your left wrist for a brief moment. And you would see that. You both would see that. He kind of immediately turns to Dr. Anders, looks at the inside of his left wrist. Is there anything there, Doctor?
The inside of my left wrist. I don't believe so.
He takes a second, doesn't see what he's looking for, smirks, takes another drink, and
could be, but there's not.
there's not at the moment.
There's not at the moment. That is correct.
Well, then who's got the secrets now, Doctor?
He doesn't, unfortunately.
It just took me a minute. I'm like, oh, I know what she's getting at now. Yeah.
I'm entirely enjoying this now. I'm sorry.
Oh no, don't enjoy away, because I am as well.
No, that you both see him look at the doctor's left wrist, notice that there's nothing there, smokes for a second, takes a drink. Well, first of all, it's not really First of all, Doctor, it's not really members of secret societies or people hiding out and watching others from the darkness and writing down everything about them, or it's just good, clean living.
I'm sorry to butt in your conversation, but I feel like what the doctor was insinuating is that you had first-hand experience with that cult of the Serpent People.
Cult of the Serpent People I didn't have first-hand experience with. I did have a very pleasant first-hand conversation with a couple of the native Navajo that reside around here that did have first-hand experience of it, but I did not.
Do you think it would be possible for us to speak with them?
And
Probably
there-
not.
I was gonna say, are there any that are around or have
Well,
been?
The Navajo reservation is a couple, like 50 miles southwest of Four Corners, and you'd be aware of that.
Mhm.
But his answer is immediately no. Unfortunately, they don't have quite as clean a living as I do.
What do you mean by that?
Well, then what do you think I mean? Your doctor has a very interesting opinion. I want to hear what he says.
I mean, there's something to be said about clean living. I still. You are an enigma wrapped in a riddle.
Dressed in a mystery. I'll have to use that one.
There is just something about you, Dr. Adams, that I cannot put my finger on. And I mean, your wealth of knowledge is just beyond anyone that I have ever met. And I have met some of the finest minds during my time in New York that you just make them seem almost infantile, and I don't understand why.
Let's play round 2. Deputy. I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
As you wish.
He's going to pull out the sword from the cane.
Well, that's a mighty fine weapon.
Isn't it?
Have a sword.
Might want to look into fixing that. But I meant more personally. What are you calling yourself these days, Deputy?
Well, the same name that name my mother gave me. My God-given name, Robert Stone. Yeah, Doctor. George was a false identity I crafted over the years to hunt down criminals.
Backstage chat is entertaining. Well, I'm very entertained by this. But, Mr. Robert Stone. Although changing names is easy. But can you change anything more than your name? Can you change the language you speak, the people you interact with?
That's all possible, and I'll switch to Spanish, which Simon does not know enough to switch to Spanish comfortably at the moment, except to say that my pants are on fire. And where's the library? But I'm gonna switch to Spanish and tell him that I can switch language and I can switch who my acquaintances are. It's just a matter of what needs to be done and how long I have. It's not the first time I had to switch into a different. And I think when he's speaking Spanish, Robert's posture changes as well. So much so that it froze the keeper.
I was gonna say, did we lose her?
Yep.
No, I'm good. I'm right here.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I heard everything you said.
All right then.
And as you change to Spanish, Dr. Adams immediately responds in Spanish. Crap, it doesn't work for this, and I wish it did, but I can't use that line. But he immediately switches to Spanish, and he responds with saying, "Well, you've learned the first lesson. Second lesson, deputy, is to learn as much as you can, because it will always be relevant sometime."
I've started using magic.
Do you say that?
Nope. I am keeping this secret.
And I'm assuming that I can understand them, or I guess I'll have to make a roll to understand them. Because Spanish is one of my languages as well.
No, you probably understand them then.
Okay.
What's your rating in Spanish? Just to
26?
It's slightly higher than mine, so I don't think you have a like. I'm not using big words, or I'm not speaking fast either. Because Robert's rusty on his Spanish,
Right.
so.
And your conversation, and obvious that you all understand and speak this language. Dr. Adams takes another drink, evaluates the deputy, evaluates Doctor. Well, if you're that good at keeping a secret, and he changes languages back to English, I can let you in on another little secret for you to keep, gentlemen. Some of us are a good deal older than we look. For example, how old do you think I am?
Like I said earlier, you don't look a day over 30. Maybe 35 at your worst.
865.
Mildly impressed at your random number. Is there a particular reason you chose that one?
I felt like 400 would have been too young for you to be a conquistador, and if I had gone with just say 500, it would have been something different. Your experiences with what you discovered as a conquistador would have been a little different. Also, you said you were from Wales, so by the time you reached out to Spain and started working for the Spanish crown, you would have had to have integrated yourself into the society for a while. So I went with quite a higher number, give or take 100 years.
And I'll look at George and just go, what in the hell are you on about?
Not the first time I craft a secret identity for something. It's
He
just
picks
his
up-
is stranger.
He picks up the bottle, pours another one, offers it to you.
No, reach out and take the bottle.
Oh,
You know, I haven't done this in a while, but it almost seems fun and oddly appropriate. I thank you for your opinion of my age, gentlemen. Very nice to be considered so young.
well, damn.
If you wish to know, I saw the sun rise and set on the Roman Empire. I watched Alexander the Great burn cities in his wake. I watched Egypt and the building of the pyramids.
So you're like 2,000 years old.
Wait.
Your numbers are very off, sir.
And I'll laugh. I mean, it's just. I mean, that's preposterous. That would make you. I mean, the Roman Empire. That's 27 BC. Please, you would be a pile of nothing. If that were the case.
I do look very good for my age, but no, Deputy, your math is a little off. Your good doctor is a lot closer. If we're considering my current age, I remember the last 5 millennia.
Wait, millennia.
That's a god
A
awful
good
long
word.
time.
That's. I mean, I'm all for trying to understand things, but that is beyond an impossibility. I mean,
Yet you saw last in the guise of snakes.
I mean, monsters are one thing to explain, but you claiming to be a 5,000-year-old man is beyond a snake person. It's that's pure realm of fantasy.
But I mean, if we can have snake people, then can't we have a 5,000-year-old doctor?
And I'm just at this point that Drake is in utter just disbelief, and he'll slump down and just take a large drink from the bottle.
It's not the worst reaction I've ever had. There was that, but it's definitely not the best. And I think on that note is where we're going to go for our break.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'll be back in a couple minutes, everyone. See you in about 5.
Yep.
It
And we're back. Whoa, we're not. And we're back with the actual overlay. Okay.
So when we left off, we had our good doctor questioning Dr. Adams on his recollection of the last 5,000 years of history. And the deputy kind of taking it all in.
Well, the deputy has 15 sanity left, so to him, it doesn't. It surprises me, but it makes as much sense as anything else at the moment. Why not? Next, you're gonna tell me the Earth is round.
You didn't know that.
No, I'm kidding.
We've
Just
known about that
double-checking.
one.
I'm kidding, and yet, the character in 1899 says he's kidding, but people in 2019 still believe it's flat.
1870.
Oof.
Yes, I don't recommend either of you try it, but good clean living.
I don't even know what that means. At least in your case, Dr. Adams. Dr. Adams, so reason to believe that would not be your given name? I mean, I'm not aware of when a surname was appropriate, but I'm certainly sure that if you're 5 millennia old, then that would be the case.
Well, I mean, I gave you the big deal. I don't feel like giving you all of my secrets.
And those the medicinal mixtures you had, well, George's wounds and Maisie's and all of that, I'm assuming is just knowledge acquired through your time abroad.
Well, I did study at various medical institutions for a number of years. I do have my most recent degree is indeed from Heidelberg, although it is dated in the year of your Lord 1437. I did have a degree in study of medicine during Carthage. That was fun. Before the whole burning thing, that was overdone. Alexandria was nice. Reclining on a river, watching people come and go. Some of it I learned through my own trial and error.
And Drake is still just dumbfounded, just trying to take in the fact of being at Carthage and everything else he's describing. Just I'd say you're insane, but given everything that we have dealt with the past few days in this place, I can only attempt to understand.
Oh, I can assure you, Doctor, that I'm not currently without my faculties. I remember what that was like. Most unpleasant. Actually, kind of unpleasant for most of the people around me, too. I don't recommend it. Are you well, Deputy? You look out of sorts.
I'm still trying to process everything. You're talking of cities. I have no idea what this Carthagia was.
Carthage. City on North Africa. Site of the Punic Wars and rival to Rome until Rome decided to burn it to the ground. I'm sure you've heard of Hannibal and his elephants crossing the Alps. Really, that was a failure of political consequences. I mean, the man would have achieved greatness, except he was hampered by a horrible Senate.
I gather you were there, so you probably know about it. But I had never heard of that Hannibal and elephants. What was he, some sort of a circus trainer person?
No, he was a general. He used the elephants to wage war on Rome.
Wow, that must have been a sight.
Apparently was. I only heard stories, mind you. I wasn't in the city at the time. Quite enjoying myself on, well, you are a little too young for you to understand that enjoyment of my period of life.
I mean, I can understand you're 5,000 years old or however old you say. I mean, we've seen Doctor and I some pretty weird things here in Four Corners. I don't reckon I'd like to live as long as you do, sir.
Why? Not.
I like to think I'm gonna hopefully die in my sleep with Mrs. Coldwater by my side.
Aww. You're so sweet. Love. I just have many loves.
Personal interaction for you must seem incredibly short. I mean,
Why?
you're supposedly 5 millennia old. It's got to be at some point, maybe in the beginning. I don't know quite the process to deal with seeing someone who never appears to age, I guess. But then everyone around you does, and eventually they're not there any longer.
But you're all alive, are you not? You have stories and tales. You live, you love, you get shit-faced and puke in the back corner. Not any different. They're just scope of the experience is more. Just gives me more opportunities to see more. Like your bugs, for example. Them are I don't particularly care for.
Going back to the bugs and the snake people and all of them things that you said you wrote about in that journal of yours.
Didn't. Yes. Move on.
How did you handle them? How did you deal with them? Clearly,
Well,
we
I
can't
didn't-
just go around burning everything down.
I don't. God, I have to be moral and upright.
Well, that's ultimately your decision.
I don't support chivalry. It's merely fashion. But no, unfortunately, I did not stay around for the end of this small little disagreement that occurred. It's what happens when one dies publicly.
I'm assuming in 5,000 years you've managed to die publicly.
A couple times.
I mean, if you're as old as you say you are, I How can you die? I suppose.
Doctor, I'm not going to give away all of my secrets. But I'll give you a small one. And he reaches behind him and down to his boot and pulls out the dagger, hands it to George, or Robert. Hold this. Just hold it right there.
All right.
Don't try and move.
All right.
And he goes and circles his entire hand around the dagger. And just stands there, but bleeding.
And even though he's told me, hey, I'm 5,000 years old, gonna live forever kind of thing. Just an initial reaction. I'll, reach for something, a towel, or look for something to try and stop, the bleeding. Like, what in the absolute hell are you doing?
And as you watch, you see small sparks of lightning cross across his hand. And the cut is gone, and the time it takes you to say, "What are you doing?" it's gone. He takes the towel from you and just wipes the blood from his hand. I'll take my knife back, sir.
Yeah, sure.
And he cleans it very efficiently. He is extremely efficient in cleaning that knife and putting it back in his boot. Death doesn't like me. No, I should rephrase that. Death and I are on a first-name basis, and we mostly avoid each other.
I'll be damned.
That I don't recommend.
You should be bleeding out in front of us, son. Ready to die. And at that point, he'll just sit back down into the pew and go at the bottle one more time. I'm lost. I'm lost for words, and I'm just gonna, and he'll just kind of ramble for a minute.
So yes, the exact means of dealing with the permanently I wasn't really here for. I do know the general particulars if you'd like that, Deputy.
I'll look at Anders and I'll say, well, yeah, I might I'll relay the information to the good doctor when he comes back to his senses. You'll have to pardon my language, but this is very fucked up.
Not bad. I'd always felt that English is a little weak in cursing. French is enjoyable. Spanish, all right. The Romans knew how to curse, though.
I can probably curse in French, but
some of us would understand it.
c'est de la crise de merde.
Oui, c'est merde. But not really the issue right now. And your decisions and beliefs are not really my problem. You asked for information and I gave it to you.
What are the generals? What anything you can tell us about how to deal with them? Do you know what happened after you died? How did the rest of the conquistador dealt with the threat over there?
They died.
Well, that's not gonna cut it for four corners.
And right then, the alcohol is obviously taking an effect at this point due to the amount consumed. Hold on. I have to ask. What in the Sam Hell is a 5,000-year-old man doing in Four Corners?
It came for a poker game.
How are you here? A poker game? A poker game. He's here for a fucking poker game. Did you bring all this shit with you?
No. I just merely forgot that it was here.
How long has this shit been here?
Well, I was here with the conquistadors in 1503, 1504. I got a little fuzzy there at the end.
300 years. He's telling me this shit's been here for 300 years. George, are you hearing this shit?
I'm hearing it.
300 years. 300 years?
Well, don't you recall, Doctor, we were sent back in time and we saw that staircase and all that.
Right now I'm trying to maintain the room not spinning too quickly. What the hell is in this bottle?
Scotch, I believe, Doctor.
Do you want to know the particulars? Because I can tell you right now that I'm going to have to inform my friend that he has to bring me another bottle, and he'll be slightly put out. Don't keep swigging on it too much, Doctor. That bottle is, well, quite a bit older than you are.
Quite a bit. It's very good.
It is mighty fun.
I'm gonna, and I'll hand kind of drunkenly hand the bottle to George. I'm gonna just lie down for a minute, and I'm just gonna,
Pass out?
bump into the pew and pass out.
I'm gonna have to drag his sorry gas back to his sister.
Leave him there. Leave him there. Let the father find him.
Next episode, Quentin wakes up. There's a passed out doctor on a pew,
snoring in a
stinking
pew
of booze.
That's right.
You know that your sister is going to come looking. His sister is going to come looking for him, correct?
Oh yeah, probably.
No, I can let her know he's sleeping it off in the church.
I'm sure that's your enjoyment. If you want to know, as far as I'm aware, the last time I interacted with many of these things, fire was the route we chose to go. There are those who went to more esoteric arts, but I don't usually recommend those long term. It has a detrimental effect on one's mind.
I think my mind is solid enough to take pretty much anything at this point. Why are you leering at me, Doctor?
The doctor's passed out.
No, I meant the other doctor.
Oh, that doctor.
I don't need to change anything. I just say doctor, and whoever picks up is the person I'm talking to.
Eventually, you'll have to figure out what his name is. Maybe. You look unwell, as if it's already had a detrimental effect on your mind.
Well, I mean, it had a detrimental effect on the good doctor's mind as well. It's got a detrimental effect on all of us except for Miss Coldwater, because apparently she is inured to those things. She is just... well, she is special. I'll give her that.
You find her special. She's your link, as it were, you would say, to this strength of reality.
Well, she's the one good thing that happened to me in years.
Hold on to it.
Her.
Her, yes. But that link is what I'm talking about, Deputy. You don't want to sacrifice all of your mind. I can tell you from personal experience that sacrificing your mind is never a good thing for those around you.
But what if it keep them safe?
It doesn't. Your friend, the doctor, is unconscious, but Robert, when someone like me or you, someone who's used to fighting and winning, loses that fight in their mind, the first thing they do is turn on those they're trying to protect.
Well, let's just hope I never lose the fight then.
But don't make it about, I don't know that I can guarantee that. I can help you. Give you tricks on how to center yourself. And ensure that you aren't trapped in that fight, or you don't turn your sword on your friends.
I would be mighty welcome of you, sir. Mighty generous.
Here's the lesson. Get a book. Write it down. Write down everything that's in your head, everything you've seen, everything you've heard. Don't care if it's crazy or not. Write it down. Then sort fact from fiction. And remember that once it's in that book, it can't harm you anymore.
That is indeed a mighty fine trick.
Maybe I'll teach you the other ones someday. If you live long enough.
Or if you ever come back to Four Corners for another poker game.
Your sheriff and I are friends. I might come back for other reasons. By the way, he's got $100 on Maisie's dad for that you two aren't dating yet and wouldn't because you were too much of a, well, polite young man to ever be forward enough to ask a young lady out without talking to her father. Her father's response was that he's quite sure that that's not true, and that if he does see you around this town, he's going to get $150 off of your sheriff and put a bullet in you. So,
I would like to see him try.
he didn't say he was going to make it fatal, and I did promise to make sure that you're all right after the fact. But
Well,
for 24 hours, can you not get shot?
Of course I can.
Anything else you desperately need to know?
If it's fire we need, it's fire we're gonna bring.
And strength of mind.
I think we're gonna have plenty of that.
I wish you luck. I have a date with my bed. Have a good evening.
Well,
Good afternoon, excuse me.
It's plenty fine. I'm gonna need to, I'm gonna wake the poor doctor up.
Have a good one. Might go visit that wonderful lady goodnight. She seemed like a wonderful fun time. And he will walk out the door, leaving you and
The girls are really polite.
always a bonus. leaving you, you and the good Dr. Anders. Well, Dr. Anders still passed out on that pew. Hey, George,
Hmm?
go ahead and roll that D10.
Yep. 3.
Oh, look, you're at 18 sanity.
Slowly but surely.
You're making your way back to 20.
Yeah. Can you guys give me just a quick second? I'll wake up Doctor, so if
No.
Scott, you want to do anything? 2 seconds.
Yep. Crazy stream.
Are you sober yet, sir?
Sobering. I don't know. I'm assuming that was some pretty old scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His good friend brought it for him. But,
Good friend.
yeah, the blonde one, not the dark-haired one.
Not the dark. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry about
technically the dark-haired one doesn't know him yet.
That is true.
But with the doctor awakening
Doctor,
and
Doctor.
sobering,
George, I'm alright, George. It was crazy stream.
I need you to roll an intelligence, excuse me, intelligence.
Myself or
You.
okay.
Yeah,
Success.
are you still on your like thing that you don't lose any sanity?
No,
You're a
I
disbeliever
I
thing?
understand it. No, I'm
No.
a believer.
He
No,
is a believer, but no, he's now sobering up, and the alcohol rules are now in effect.
Hmm.
So go ahead and roll that sanity, doctor, as you aware of what just happened and comes back to your mind.
Success. I had the crazy stream, George. Man, my bed is really uncomfortable.
You're not in your bed,
Um,
Doctor.
And I'll open my eyes up and realize I'm in the pew and I go, oh, just you and I? Was Dr. Adams here?
Dr. Adams was here. Anders.
And craziest idea, the guy was saying he was like 5,000 years old. Did that happen too?
That also happened, Mr. Anders. Everything he said seems to be true. And he also gave me a tidbit of information before parting about well, that was after you passed out, on how to deal with our little varmint problem here in Four Corners.
We just burned the city down and moved to Arizona?
That is almost what he said. Fire. Fire is what we're gonna need to get rid of that those beasties.
Okay, I mean, that's seemed to work so far. Glad to see you can confirm that. I mean, since he can't be bothered with anything else like helping or...
Well, he helped in his fashion. He also told me that strength of mind is going to be a help.
Oh, yeah, this is a lot to take in, even for everything else we've dealt with.
Would you two gentlemen roll me a listen check?
Do?
Sure. Hard success.
Who the hell is spying on us? I'm gonna burn 50 luck. No.
Why?
I'm not even gonna push it.
Doctor, you hear something odd. You hear a voice in the street calling to Maisie and hammering on her door.
George,
But
I think somebody's looking for Maisie.
well, she's at the Coldwater Sundry, and
Well, yeah, I mean, in the street.
oh wait,
I could be imagining that too. Poke your head out the door and see what the hell's going on. I'm gonna try and get up here.
you be careful, Doctor. And I'll unlatch the door and open it and look outside.
Well, the door is unlatched because Ben.
Oh, because Ben
for it.
left. Yeah, so I'm just gonna open it and poke my head out.
You see Miss Nellie Connors banging on the door of the Coldwater Sundries.
Nellie, that's the other teacher. Teacher
Yeah.
at the school.
Retired.
Yes, the one that was selling her land off.
Moved to
Selling,
Albuquerque.
yeah. And
Too
is
bad.
she banging on the door like in a hurry, like as if there's an emergency or something, or she's just knocking on the door and asking for Maisie?
She's not as if she was in an emergency that she needed Maisie's help with, but that she's growing slightly more concerned that nobody's answering the door.
Doctor, do you think you can walk?
Probably. Yeah, I'm good. Just you go. I'll be there in a minute. I'm right
Okay.
behind you.
And I'll whistle and wave at Miss Nellie. Is there some problem, Miss?
Deputy, I can't find Maisie. I know I saw her in here earlier, but now the doors are locked.
Well, I
And I
think
want to say goodbye before I left.
I think she might be sleeping.
At this time of day, no. I told her I was going to come by.
Well, that is strange. Let me take a look real quick. And if I look through the windows, do I see any sign of struggles?
In the first floor? As you're
First
peeking
floor.
You're peeking through. You can't really see through the windows. The curtains are drawn.
Well, I'll go to the second floor.
Which you can't do from outside.
Oh yeah, right, because she doesn't have a staircase outside.
Because because the Coldwaters are wealthy and have a staircase on the inside.
Yeah.
But if you walk around the outside, it doesn't look like from the front, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong. It's just the doors are locked and all the shades are drawn. And it's the middle of the day. And there's no sign on the door.
All right, Miss Connor, is it?
Yes, deputy, you know.
Can you take a few steps back for a moment?
Of course. Are y'all okay?
Probably. I probably am. But I'm just gonna. I think I heard something inside. And as a deputy, if I have a reason to believe that, and I kick the door.
I'm pretty sure probable cause is not a thing in the 1870s.
Or it's
I mean,
you're
you can pretty much just kick in the door.
Yes, but I am also polite.
Well, this is true. I mean, your
Well-
judgment might be a bit skewed. It's your girlfriend. Yeah.
And I mean, I just don't want her to say like, oh yeah, George is a maniac. He just kicked down your door for no reason. So,
as you swing
Wait.
open the door.
Just one side note. You're worried about her feeling bad about you kicking at her door, yet you shot a woman in front of her. Just
oh no, I'm talking about
oh, Miss Connors.
Connor. Yeah, Miss Connors.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
That makes more
No,
sense.
and the shooting Jane is she drew upon something inside me that got triggered and trigger finger.
That makes sense. Okay.
It that's definitely the truth on that one. Kicking in the door. Want to roll me that spot hidden?
Sure. Burp, 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 burp. Hard success.
The store itself doesn't look out of place. Doesn't look. You can tell that everything's where it should be. The cash register hasn't been touched. You do notice a couple scuff marks on the floor leading to the door that leads up to the stairs to the upstairs.
Scuff marks?
Mm-hmm.
Like something was dragged on the wall or something?
On the floor.
On the floor? Miss Connors? Miss Connors,
Yes, Deputy?
stay where you are. I'm gonna go take a look. And I'll
Alright, you be careful and make sure Maisie's alright.
yeah. I'll draw my pistol and I'll go in. And I'll
So you're
call
going
it.
upstairs?
Yeah. Maisie? Miss Coldwater?
There's no answer. As you go up the stairs, you notice a couple other scuff marks on the stairs themselves. And with that hard success on the spot hidden, you also notice a couple drops of red. And as you get to Maisie's room, you go to open the door. Do so.
Mm-hmm.
You push open the door. You'll notice it's ajar slightly. And as you push on it, you realize it's marks on the door. Like somebody grabbed at it on the side around the without the handle. And as you push open even further, you see blood on the door. And you see blood on the floor. And one large, well, not large. Actually, you wouldn't say it's large. You'd say it's just about right. The handprint in blood. That hand that gripped yours just the other day. And that's where we're going to end for today.
Well, I'll be damned.
Right?
All right. Is Kelly aware of all that?
Kelly is aware that I have permission to do what I want with Maisie.
Oh. Well then.
Hey. Is
So-
Kelly aware of what happened? You'll find out next week.
Yeah, we'll see that next week. All right.
Yep.
Well, thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks for watching. Let's just go around the table, do the outros. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? Let's start with our keeper.
Well, hello all. You know me. I'm at Georgia Donlin on Twitter, or Praxagora Thesmiophoria, as you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat. I'm here a lot. I'm here quite frequently, but tomorrow I will be over on Solvay RPG for some Shattered Eye fun. I'll be back. And then Monday we have the series and premiere over on Role Players for some wonderful, wonderful things. And I just saw the art and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait. And then Tuesday back here for some Doc Matter. Wednesday over on Other Doc's channel for some Robot Hamlet versus Robot Richard III. Yes, the dark side is an STD. The dark side of the Force is an STD. And then back here for some Adventures in Castle Falkenstein on Friday. But also, I am part of the team from Uncaged Anthology, and the Uncaged team is doing a 24-hour charity stream over on for non-toxic gaming. And to raise money for the RAINS charity, which is one of the major domestic violence charities, as part of our Uncaged events. But check my Twitter. I always say where I'm going to be, and I cannot wait for next week to find out what happens in Four Corners.
All right, and Scott, who are you? Where can we find you?
I am Berserk Rage on Twitter. You guys can find me here on Saturdays, and then usually I'm either hanging out here or in the Scraticus Academy or any other wonderful multitude of RPG channels that exist on Twitch. So always feel free to just drop me a line and say hello. And then again, hopefully this will be my thing here 1 o'clock on Saturdays for the next unforeseeable future. So.
Cool. Well, then I'm Simon at Wandering DM. This is my channel. You know where to find me, either here or on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out in chat. And I will see you tomorrow on Soul Bay RPG for Shattered Eye, and on Monday on Role Players for Role Players TV for Age of Arcana. Otherwise, Tuesday for Dark Matter here. Goodbye, everyone. Let's see, and we're gonna go raid our friends at Team NTG.
Woo!
And on that note, ciao for real.